Popcorn. It's not just for the movie theater. Come see what we can do with it. Hi, real quick I want to touch on the last video that I did, milling the popcorn into cornmeal to make cornbread. Waited a week, made this the other night, or last night, to go with pinto beans and potatoes, and I have some left over. You know how I like to stretch stuff. This is actually a really good warm cereal. All you gotta do is crumble it up in a bowl, pour some warm milk over it, drizzle it with some honey. My husband got actually raised on this and called it crumble in, but it's a good extension of leftovers. Now these will probably just get toasted and eaten normally, but you can still stretch it a little bit more. Okay, let's move on to what we can do with popcorn once it's actually been popped. You don't have to just, you know, have packets you stick in the microwave anymore. You need to take them, your variations, and stretch them. Some good organic popping corn that you can use in many, many different ways. The packets for the microwave, one, microwaving's not that good for us, and then, you know, you don't forget that it's kind of expensive, so you might want to save some money and use regular popping corn the old-fashioned way. If you can get really good organic popping corn in bulk, that's the best way to do it because it makes snacks for pennies. Okay, what you'll need for tools if you want to pop popping corn the old-fashioned way are really quite easy. It's not all that expensive. So, your basic counter method on the oven, on the stovetop, something like this with a good sturdy bottom. And then I like a clear lid, that way you can see the corn popping and you can kind of keep an eye on it. But it's not necessary. You do need a fitting lid that you can occasionally peek in, see how the corn's doing so that you don't burn anything. This size, or for our family, this size, work really good. Okay, that's one tool. It's not expensive. You don't have to buy an expensive corn popper. Next, this is actually one of my favorites. I like to use it in the winter to make popcorn because, one, it cuts out all your oil. Two, it heats my kitchen. But I got this at a thrift store for $3. I didn't have to spend $25 to get one brand new. It works just fine. So check out your thrift stores, $3. You can have an air popper. One thing a lot of people don't know is that Native Americans used to use popcorn, dry maize, to help cure headaches. So it's really a good food. It's full of fiber. When you pop it with the right kind of oils, it's very healthy. When you pop it with air popped, it's extremely healthy because you haven't added any oil whatsoever. But good oils are still good for you. So let's talk about the oils real quick. You of course have butter, which you can pop it right in when you're using one of the pans. You can pop it right in there. It comes pre-buttered, salt, you're done. You eat it right out of here. But you can also use a couple of other oils. A good canola oil, a very good extra virgin olive oil, and sesame oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil, all options to pop popping corn in because you don't have to do it long and you will keep an eye on it so you won't have a burn. My favorite is coconut oil. If you can look up, do some studies on the benefits of coconut oil. It's really good, adds a good variation. But you can see all the different options for popping oils for your corn. Alright, we'll move on to some actual variations for the taste. It's real versatile. Of course, you've got your basic salt and butter. Pop it in a little bit of butter, or half olive oil, half butter. It's really tasty. Just salt it. You can then toss in like some M&Ms or Reese's Pieces, something that's got a slight hard candy shell. I'm surprised you didn't know that. That you can put in, and they'll melt a little on the inside and add a little bit of sweetness. Now, aside from that, there are a lot of things you can do with it. Of course, when it's got a little oil on it, dry ingredients are going to stick to it. So here are some options. Pop it in whatever your favorite oil and butter or combination is, and then add a little bit of garlic salt and Parmesan cheese. That's one variation. Try a little bit of your seasonings from a taco. if you sprinkle things in like a sieve over top of it, it'll break it up and make it nice and evenly dispersed. Seasonings from tacos, ranch seasoning. One of our favorites are we make our own spicy seasoned fries. This has some garlic, some paprika, some cayenne, some pepper, some onion salt, and we can put this on to have another salty variation. Absolute straight cayenne pepper, just a little bit, nice and spicy. All this on top of popcorn that you've popped with oil because it will stick. All those variations and options. Last but not least, one of the other non-sweet variations are vinegar and dill. Now, vinegar, of course, you don't want to pour it because it makes it soggy. So what you'll do is take a spray bottle and just spray lightly over the top so that it just barely tastes the vinegar. Sprinkle with a little bit of dill, and you have another variation for a snack of popcorn. Now on to the sweet stuff. This is stuff that I personally think is best popped in coconut oil because it adds a little bit of richness, a little bit of tropical flavor, not a whole lot. And you still want to add just a tiny bit of salt because salt helps to bring out the flavor. Don't go overboard on it with this one. But you can use cocoa and a little bit of stevia, the powdered stevia now. Put it in your sieve and put it over the top. Cures that chocolate fix that you might want. Dark chocolate or regular cocoa. Either way, you've not added any extra fat because you're not using milk chocolate. A little bit of cinnamon. Ouch. And organic sugar. Or stevia, powdered stevia again to keep the sugar ratio down. Also a good sweet treat. And then you can make a tropical mix, which is also one of my favorites to do. Coconut oil, pop it in the coconut oil, maybe coconut and butter. And then once it's cooled just a little bit, throw in some dried banana chips, dried pineapple chunks, dried apricots, a few nuts to give it some protein. Sprinkle in some shredded coconut for some extra flavor. And there you've got a tropical mix. Okay, last, after you've got all these variations and options and things to do, how do you store it? Popcorn can go bad as far as soft, stale, pretty quick. So you've got to have a trick and know how to do it. First off, you want to try to use it in a couple of days. You don't want this to sit for a week. It's going to get yucky, especially if you put some moist seasonings on it, like a vinegar for a salt and vinegar flavor. One thing you'll need to do is spread it out. You'll need to take this and probably put it on a cookie sheet. Make sure it all gets at least room temperature. Like right now, I popped this a minute ago and it's still warm inside. So let it sit for a little while. After you've seasoned it, of course you need the warmth and stuff to make the season stick. Let it sit, I'd say maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And then you can portion it out for snacks in bags. Packs in lunches, does all kinds of easy grab. Throw it in the car because you know you're going to get hungry on a little trip. But it's also cheap. You've probably spent, let's see, what's a bag of Doritos? $3.29 now? Something like that, $2.89. Anyway, for a serving size, you've got healthier, high fiber, less fat, nothing processed, and you maybe have 25 cents, even with add-ins and all the kind of good stuff for your body. I know, I've like rattled off a bazillion options, so I'm going to list them over in the side, wherever the side is. Just some options so that verbally you can connect with some words to see what I said. But I'd really like it if you could throw me a few options too in the comments down below. I'd love to hear some more options because this is one of my favorites to take one thing and use it multiple ways. Next up, we're going to cover polenta. So that's milled cornmeal, or milled popping corn into cornmeal. And so tune in for that one. That's our next thing on using this one great grain of dried popcorn in just many different ways. Have fun, experiment, send me some more ideas. Thanks, come back again soon.